In this assignment, we're going to figure out what final exam score you can get to correspond to what your desired course grade is in the course. So first, we need to go to Canvas Grades to enter your WebAssign homework average. Let me tell you where you will find that. Go to Grades. This gives all your individual grades, but if you scroll down to the bottom, then you have averages for quizzes and for homework. So get those numbers entered in for homework and quizzes. For the checkups, you'll have to scroll through your list of individual scores. Here's checkup number 1, midterm, and checkup number 2. Okay, we've entered the homework and the quizzes. Checkup 1, midterm, and checkup number 2. Use category weights from the Canvas grades to fill in these weighting factors. So that's at the top of the grades page. Homework 10%, quizzes 10%, checkups combined is 15%. So let's do homework 10%, quizzes 10%. Checkup number 1 would be half, so 7.5%, half of 15. Midterm was midterm 25%, final 40%. You should have a total of 100%. And then use the syllabus to get the grading scale for the course. Pull up the course syllabus. Here's the grading scale. The D's go down to 50%, C minus goes down to 65%, C goes to 73%, so on. In cell H6 here, enter the score on the final that you predict you will earn. So I'm going to predict an 80%. Create named ranges for the values in cell C12 through 17. You can do that by click both the label and the value. Go to your Formula tab, Create from Selection, and it will show left column, so it'll create named ranges. And you should now, if you go to your named range box, have a homework score, a homework category percent, have a checkup number 2%, and so on. Use the course weighting factors and your earned score. Calculate your overall grade percent. That would be homework times the homework percent, 10% plus. Get your quiz average times the quiz percent plus checkup number 1 times get your checkup number 1% plus midterm times get your midterm percent plus checkup number 2 score times category weight for checkup number 2, and finally your predicted final exam score and the 40% category weight. That is an overall score of 86.6%. Now I want to figure out what grade that would be. To do that, I'm going to look for a score of 86.6. It's not high enough to get to 87, so it would fall back to 83, and that would correspond to a B. There's a lookup function that will do that for us. I'm going to use XLOOKUP. First parameter, what value to look for? 86.6%. Where should I look for it? In that column of numbers, comma, and when you find it, return the corresponding value from the letter grade column. And then the next parameter is an if not found. I'm just going to skip that over, leave it blank. The match mode, I'm not going to find exactly 86.6%, but when I look for it, I want to go to the next smaller item. And that is coded with a -1, and then return. So if I get an 80% on the final, that's a course grade of B. If I can get a little bit better on the final, get an 85. Now my overall is 88.6. It looks for an 88.6. It goes past 87. 90 is too big, so it falls back to the next smallest number, and it corresponds to a B+. Copy the information into the next row. Everything should look identical if you did all of your named ranges correctly. Use the row 7 values and use Solver to find the score on the final that would be necessary to get a C- in the course. Okay, so for a C-, we want the overall grade percent to be at least 65. And just the way that the numerical works, I'll probably look for a 65.1, just slightly bigger than 65%. So pull up Solver. Where is it? Data, Solver. Set my overall score to a value of 0.651, so 65.1% by changing the final exam score, and solve. So with the scores in place, a final exam score of 26% would be enough to guarantee a C-. If you don't want to guarantee a C-, but you want to look for a better score, you could pull up Solver. Maybe you want to know how to get an A-. So now instead of targeting 65%, I'm going to look for 0.990 and then just a little bit higher and solve it through again. I can get an A- in the course with 88.8% on the final exam. When you turn yours in, I want you targeting a C-. But feel free after you turn it in to go back and look at what exam scores you would need for different scenarios.